I have a slight feeling it's a yes. Very slight feeling.
Same. But no, you never heard.
Pardon?
Alright, I'm
Should
on
we give
air.
it to Corpass and then start? Because, you know, there are always the like...
I'm on air right now. Hey, he's behind
Yeah,
you. How
same,
is he
but-
behind you?
We can see you join in the other instances and see how slow you are to get in.
Yeah, you're taking
Never-
too
never.
long, man. I think I reckon we should kick it off, you know.
Yes, let's kick it off. So, I'll just say hello, my name's Matt. I don't know if anyone knows who I am, probably. But yeah, well, that's cool, good to hear. This is Yos. You probably know who he is, though.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he's
you
a
want me
big
to do a
man.
little? You want me to do a little introduction?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so, what's going on, everybody? My name's Yos. I'm currently a student studying game development, majoring in programming though, not design. But obviously, as students, we have to sort of do both. But yeah, in terms of Rec Room, I'm a creative advisor at Rec Room. A lot of you may know me through the many Circuits V2 classes that exist. So I'm the owner of those. I've got a few of my own rooms as well. So, you know. But yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and I would agree. I'm also studying game design, but on the design side, we do a bit of coding. Currently learning how to make games in Unity. Yeah, well, you do have to do a bit of everything, but I suppose that's a good thing. You know, you learn everything, you get to decide which one you prefer. And obviously, honestly, I'm not sure yet. I like a bit of both. We'll see. But yeah, and I think the main difference between is the way they learn, because I'm sure, you know, where I learn how to do stuff, it's good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I it's pretty fun. I don't know about you, I'm enjoying it.
Are you guys real?
Yeah. I've been studying for
Are you
a
real?
couple months now, and I have to say I've met a lot of cool people. We've done a couple cool projects. I've made
They obviously
a
won't.
Move.
board game. I've made a few
Move.
Unity games.
I'm streaming.
It's
Move. I need the whole
pretty
thing.
interesting what we're doing. And I'm not too sure on your side what you've done, but you know.
Well, technically I've been studying for like 4 years, but a lot of that was computer science based, so that was more inside the computer itself. But for the most part, this course I'm doing right now, I'm on my second year, which is the last year. Somehow people have granted themselves fly access thanks to that. Oh well. Yes, lovely.
Yeah,
It seems one of the gadgets gone wrong.
yeah.
Alright, just try
I'm
not to
too sure
abuse
what
it,
to-
I guess.
Yeah, if you guys are in the main instance, can you sit down? Because we'll be kicking anybody who's flying.
Hey,
yeah,
I'm
don't
streaming right
stop
now, so I'm
messing
trying to
with
get the
stuff.
whole thing. I'm trying to
Not
get the
that
whole
they
thing
work,
because
we
I'm
have to save
streaming.
them all, but please don't start messing with stuff. Anyway, I'll carry on.
Hey, broadcast.
So, the main goal of this panel is to sort of just, you know, tell everyone what it's been like for us. You know, I know there's a lot of people that are interested in games. I mean, you're all playing the game right now, so I'm assuming you have some interest. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But it's definitely a big area, but I think a lot of people don't really know where to start, especially with like learning and getting into it. So that's going to be one of our main focuses today, is just explaining that and helping out with people that are not really sure. The thing is, we're also going to talk about like how it is in the future. Now, originally we were planning to have a couple of other people join us, but both of them are busy. I don't know what Jay said, but Seb said he was busy, so Seb can't join us. Very sad. But we'll still cover those topics anyway. So yeah, I mean, would you like to start on the first bit, or would you like me to start?
Just you know, pitch the topics to me, and we'll go from there.
Just as we get started on how it is, what
What do
it's
you
like
mean?
to
I
study.
can hear you.
Well, In my opinion, the way I'm studying it is we have something in the UK called sixth form, which is what I'm at right now. It's like the equivalent of college, pretty much. And the course I'm studying is you do a bit of coursework and you do practical work as well. So we sometimes do a bit of practical where we go into Unity, we code, we design stuff, use the software, and then sometimes we will write about what we've done, you know, in a Word document to show the exam board that we are studying under what progress we've made.
I got kicked for
Yeah,
flying.
so at my university, the way they do things is a lot of it's practical based, you know. If you're being taught something which relates to games, specifically, you know, design or programming, because I know we do have some theoretical modules, but those are more like multidisciplinary. So, you know, like if you're doing like an audio course, you'd probably be doing the same theoretical modules as a game student.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so pretty much if you're doing any studying related to anything, you know, practical, it'd be, you know, on the desk, you know, making your own games, sort of thing. And the way they do that is really intelligent, and I love the way that it's set up. So I'm not too sure how they do it.
Well, for us, it is fairly similar. You know, there's a lot of it. I think the reason we do the theory is to help understand as well, because, you know, throwing people straight in the deep end with code without teaching them, you know, about it and stuff really, you know, makes it harder. So the fact that we learn about what we're doing as well, and the behind the scenes, really helps, in my opinion, especially with the coded language that we study up. And there are other subject areas that you can learn. For example, you can learn computer science, which is, they're studying Python, I believe, at the moment. And that's very heavy on coding, but that's not, they don't do as much game work. It's more about the PCs themselves. But for our game design course, which is pretty good, and we also get to learn about web design and app design as well, so, you know, even more benefits.
Yeah, so the way my course works is it pretty much puts everything in 3 stages over 2 years. So it's a very short
Can you
course,
move? I'm streaming.
and you're
No.
taking a lot of information on as you know as you go through the course. You know, and a lot of the time you're learning things, and it's like, you know, and sometimes it's difficult to keep up, you know. But some people like learning that way. Some people don't. I personally don't mind. You know, I think whatever teaches me the most, you know. And I think in this situation, yeah, I really like the way my course is structured. Pretty much.
Well, I suppose the next conversation would be after you're finished studying, aka getting a job. I know, big thing. So for me, I have yet to go to uni. It's kind of weird how it works in the country. You know, you do the uni after the sixth form and or college, so that's another 3 years or so. Of course you pick, and after that we'll get onto a job. But depending on what you study and what you enjoy, there are loads of different jobs in like the thing. It's not just, hey, this one group of people make everything. Let's take Rec Room for example. I'm sure if you're on the Discord, you know there's many different categories of staff, and they all help. It's hard to see with the devs because they don't separate themselves. But I'll put it in simple terms. When making a game, there's 2 different front end, back end. Now, front end are the people that make it look pretty, so things like the art team from Rec Room that make your work. So, for example, that go behind your character move and interacting with objects. what you enjoy most, whether you're more of a creative person, which I would suggest you go for front-end stuff, or you like the coding, you like making how things work, then back-end is better. But you can do a mixture of both. For example, like I said, in my course I'm doing both. We make the front-end and the back-end, we make the designs and we code them. So it really depends on your preference. And I suppose along with the jobs is the different ways they go about it. So for example, in a team game, they split the front end and back end, and obviously there are varying pays for different jobs. Like any workplace. But obviously they all have to come together as a team. Because at the end of the day, one can't work without the other. So I think it's a really good way that works, and I think it's positive that both groups have to come together as a team. You can't just, hey, I'll do this, I don't care what you guys are doing. I think that's really, really cool that they work together.
Yeah, because the thing is, I definitely believe that, when it comes to design, whenever I'm designing, I'm always designing with, the program in mind. So you're like, okay, technologically, will this work? How sustainable is it in the long term? As well, because a lot of the time when you're programming, you're also designing.
Yeah.
You're given sort of the outcome, and it's up to you to sort of build up to that outcome. So yeah, I'd say when it comes to front end and back end, pretty much, and especially when it comes to designing as well, you need to be able to be both a designer and programmer in those sorts of situations. I'll give you an example. So with the cloud variables, I actually made a video, pretty much a design document in a video, and I said, here's how you should. This was like way before cloud variables were even a thing. Like videos called Leaderboard V2. I said, this is how you should implement it, like technically wise, and they looked at it and they said, this is very similar to what we already have. Like the way I had designed it was pretty much the same way they designed it. By the way, for those who want to ask, there's a Discord link above me. Just join that.
Just thought I'd point out, because I can see a few people sticking up hands.
Yeah. So we'll be taking questions in there.
Yeah, we'll answer those later.
So yeah, just join that. And let's see. So put all your questions in there. We'll answer them when we get to the Q&A. But back on topic. They actually looked at it and they're like, okay, this is very similar to what we already have.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how sort of close you can be. And the way I designed it was, I said, for every stat, every time you wanted to invalidate a stat, you give it pretty much says, don't use this, if that makes sense. And it was a lot of it was being able to reset a stat, and they're like, no, this is actually, we're pretty much doing the same. I use the Unix timestamp as the sort of token, but they generated their own.
Fair enough.
And it's like, it's pretty much the same thing, because they're both like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
you wanna continue?
Well, I also want to add on is, there's one very important thing when it comes to getting a job, and I know Seb would agree if he was.
So on this point, they're just talking
the
about like how to get a job.
Now, a good example of
And
this
yada, yada,
is
yada.
actually the Rec
If y'all are enjoying the stream so
page.
far,
You
then
can go there,
make sure
rec.com/jobs.
to slap the
Wide
like
range of jobs on
button,
there. Which also reinforces the part that the
subscribe,
development team doesn't consist of just one job. It is
and
many,
enjoy the
many
rest of the
jobs.
stream.
Including things like IT support and
Go
technical
gay.
people, you know. These servers wouldn't run if we didn't have those kind of people, you know. We'd all
Yeah, and they're
you know, be
just
dead.
like
No one would be
talking
able to play
about
if no one maintained those. But, for example, if I pull up one right now, they have a list of what you need to, you know, become for that job, including qualifications. And it's similar for most game companies. VRChat as well also lists their requirements. I think is really cool. So I can also stick it on the screen as well. Let's see, just give me a moment. But let's take an example. Let's take for example development, which
Oh, that's pretty cool.
lists quite an interesting job, one I'm quite interested in. So here's what you see. This is one, you know, years of interactive, you know, active visual experience, you know, in certain languages. These will all have.
I want to zoom in. Just
I shall. That's a good idea. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Here's a really good example.
At the moment, looks.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
There
So, bachelor's degree in computer science or equivalent experience. So, that means going to university and getting a bachelor's degree in computer science or something, you know, equivalent to that.
Now, how do you get a
For
bachelor's
example, game
degree?
design, software engineering, those kind of courses. This degree in those, that's what they're looking for there. And a lot of the time we'll also ask for years of experience. So, for example, for me, I technically by the end of this will have 2 years of experience making games. Because I'm also doing stuff on the side as well as my main project for school, which is quite interesting. And I think, you know, it's a big part. A lot of people get scared because they're like, oh no, you know, these qualifications, lots of experience. But I think the thing with that is you actually learn a lot during getting that qualification, then adds on to you getting a job, and you can mention that in your CV and your cover letter about that kind of stuff. But I think, you know, qualifications, they are important, but they're not the main, you know, focus. You know, you've got to have other skills as well, not just a certificate that tells someone that you passed a course in a university.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of game development studios look at is they'll just glance at your resume and they'll go, okay, where's your portfolio? What have you done?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a lot of the times you don't really need to worry too much about your CV if you've got an amazing portfolio. And, you know, getting a professional website set up, getting all that to look good. Because I've got a website, yos.me, and that's still work in progress, but you know, that's sort of where I, you know, dump my portfolio. I just put it all in there.
Yeah.
So getting your own website like that is, yeah.
Yeah, especially by yourself as well. You could then say, hey, and I also made the website. So, no, look at that and go, hey, that's kind of cool. We need this kind of stuff on our team, but no, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is as well, is go back to that jobs page as you saw, there was a long list of things you can apply for in Rec Room, and that's just Rec Room. Some game companies will have way more. Big companies like EA, you know, Ubisoft, they'll have ton more because, you know, they work on a plethora of stuff, you know, in one go. And I think to add to that is things that the jobs do. So, for example, a games designer will design parts of the game, so concept artists are part of that. So I'm showing you this Rec Room concept art. That's quite a popular thing that pops up in the Rec Room Discord from time to time. Taking questions in the Discord. The link's up the top.
Yeah.
And things like software engineers, which actually go do the, physical stuff in Unity, which is really interesting, or Unreal Engine, or any, engine that makes games. There's a lot of different stuff that people do as jobs, and going back to what I said earlier, and it is really a main point. It comes down to what you enjoy the most, because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy something, you're not going to be that good at it.
Oh,
But if you do enjoy something, you're going to try, and therefore you're going to put the effort in, which means
fact.
that you make a good product.
Yeah.
How did you get it?
Alright. You want to move
Hey,
on to the next
broadcast.
topic?
Your
I
broadcast.
do, and actually, I think this is something that you might want to
Broadcast.
talk about. The differences between playing
Broadcast.
games as a normal gamer versus playing games as one of us, a developer. What the difference is and what it's like.
Oh yes, I love this. I love this. Oh, I love this topic so much. So for a lot of people who play games, they think about the user interaction. They think about the aesthetics. They think about pretty much everything. They don't really think about the mechanics. They just take it for what it is, oh yeah, there's there. Well, yeah, because there's a plant there. But as a developer, it's like you've taken the red pill,
Yeah.
you see into a whole other world. You're like, okay, there are, it's like, okay, how are my hands moving? How am I able to take this photo? Just by squeezing the trigger. How am I able to do that? And so, you just start working in your head, where you're like, okay, so obviously they want to check to see if their hands are in the same position. How do they do that mathematically? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, which you think about while you're developing. And there's pretty much, I can sit here for hours and go, okay, well this is how they made the watch, and this is how I can take a photo like this, and this is how they did the
Yeah.
streamer cam, and I can go on for hours about that. But I don't
Yeah.
want to bore everybody
I know how you
here.
mean.
But
Yeah, everyone
But,
fall
it's-
asleep by the end.
yeah, so it's like you're looking into a whole new world. The way to start off with that is when we go out and play custom rooms, have a think and go, how did they do this? How did they do this? So you're like, okay, able to fly through the air and dodge off like, oh, how would they actually make something like that? So you think, and I mean, some things are a little too complicated, okay, but yeah, some things are, for my tiny brain, pancake, half the stuff you do, I can't even conceptualize it, but, for a lot simpler rooms, you can think about, okay, this is, I know this move, and it's like, okay, created this room